Okay, so let's save this query that we did in part 13. And we're going to call this one quarterly revenue. It could be weekly revenue, whatever you want to call it, right? So for me, it's a quarterly revenue. So you could do this every 3 months a year, figuring out how much your revenue was. You could even see it per item and total. Okay, so I'm going to save it here. Now, let's suppose for insurance purposes, let me just close this. I'm asked at any given time to supply what my product inventory is worth. Okay, so if my warehouse, is damaged or it burned down by a fire or something like that, I can always have a number I could claim to get compensated. Okay, so now what we're going to do is a single table query and review again this query to figure out what is my inventory worth. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to design query. This one we simply need the product table. Now, if you want, you could also include the manufacturer to show who the manufacturers are. Sure, if you want to do a multi-table query, you could do manufacturer, product. Okay, close it. Let's make these a little bigger so we can actually see what fields we're picking. Okay, I want the manufacturer name. I want the product name. I want a description. I want a unit price. And I want the quantity on hand. Okay, so if I ran this by itself right here, okay, all right, so I will have all of the products that I have in my warehouse with the quantity on hand. Now remember, this one here was entered with an add product update query that we designed a few parts ago, right? So we're assuming that everything we have is 10 of each. Okay, all right, so can we figure out what is our subtotal and total? Again, we can do that. All right, so you could do a subtotal here. So the field name will be called subtotal. And then let me just zoom in as to what I'm doing here. Okay, so subtotal, and it will be based on manufacturer. Oh, actually, just product. Product unit price and quantity on hand, right? So product. Dot unit price times quantity on hand. Okay, well, let's see if it works. Let's run it, and there you go. Okay, so we've got 10 of each, so you're multiplying 10 by these prices. Great. Now, can we figure out what is the total worth of our inventory? The answer is yes. We could go over here where it says totals, right? And we're going to click here and select sum. Okay. And there you have it. We have, what is this? 188,980. Okay. In terms of value. Okay. So now let's save this as inventory value. And there you have it. Okay. Now, can we find, for example, based on the same query, what is the average value? Right? So we could close this, create another query, or based on the same query, I can copy this where it says inventory value. I'm going to copy it. because it says copy. And I am going to right mouse click here and paste a new query. And it says copy of inventory value. I am going to call this one average inventory value. Okay. And I'm going to open it. So you can actually base your query based on another query that you already had. I'm going to open it. The results are going to be the same as the previous one, except here. Okay, so we've multiplied each. So let's go back to the view here. And instead of sum, let's see if we could do an average. And that's about the average amount I might have per product. So that tells me that on average, my product's about $9,000 as a group, you know, per individual line. Okay. Can we do this instead right here? What is the average price? Okay. So yeah, we could do something here where the average price is here. And let's remove this one out. Okay. Let's see if we can do this. Let me just remove the totals and put it back here. It's still saving what I had here, so let me just delete this. Let's just remove it. Okay. And do it again. And here, I don't want anything. I want none. There you go. Here's my average price. Okay. Now, obviously, I got that because you're multiplying by 10. So it's your average price times 10 gave you this average sum here. So if you do average, that's what you're going to get. Okay. So mathematically, it makes sense. That's because I have even tens in here for each one. So I'm just going to say none. Right. So this here tells me what the average is. So if you did an average here, that would be a 10. Okay. If you did an average for quantities, obviously it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to say no. Okay. Can we do a sum here? So we could have a combination. So we could do a sum here. Okay. Right. So we have a sum and an average. Right. Okay. Let's see. And can we make something out of this? No, it won't make any business sense here. You know, we can deduce for each line here what we have. I think this is fine. Okay. And this one for the average price is fine as well. Okay. So this here is an interesting query where we have the average price and what is our total. Okay. All right, let's save this. And let's close it. Okay, now let's do another query. This time we want to find or sort our product based on price. Now that's a single table query. We could do this. Create. So query design, product, close. Now what are the fields you want to see? I want to see the product name, okay, description, unit price, and then we could sort from here ascending. Now let's see what we have. Okay, so we start with the lowest price down to the highest price. If you do it in another form, which means descending, right? So now you're going to start from the highest price down to the lowest price. Let's leave it this way. So we're going to save this one as sorted. Inventory value. or sorted these are product prices. That's more like it. Okay, so we know what's our most expensive item down to our cheapest item. Okay.